and then they blame it. All right, so. Yeah. So George Soros and the leftists, the liberal global world order, they sow chaos to try to control elections. So, and sometimes they're successful, sometimes they're not. So they were not successful. George Soros and Barack Hussein Obama and other anti-American forces like the Clintons were not successful in beating Donald Trump in 2016. And they were not successful in 2024, obviously. The Kamala Harris campaign had gigantic flaws. Actually, the anybody but Trumper folk subset of our electorate, of the voting public, they didn't even really rally behind Kamala. If they were really that dedicated to stopping Trump from becoming a second two-term president, they really wanted to make him a one-term president like Joe Biden or Jimmy Carter. They should have tried harder. So that was one of the rare cases when I wasn't trying to rhyme. It just came out that way. So the campaign was creepy and weird, like Star Trek: The Next Generation. It was like the Borg. It was, you will do, resistance is futile. You will do what we say. It was very creepy and strange, bizarre. It was communistic in nature. It was very awful. And so Donald Trump won in a landslide over Kamala Harris. And even in blue states and blue cities, the race was very tight. So Kamala Harris barely won Houston, Texas. There were so many places that Kamala Harris just barely won. So many cities, so many counties, so many states that she just barely won. So close. So Donald Trump was very close to, blowing out the whole thing. You know, like almost like a Ronald Reagan type thing. Blowout of Jimmy Carter. It was almost that good. And so, yeah, gotta do them dishes. It's so funny, the timing of it. My mother went to go take my stepfather his mail and his stuff and his books and his packages. Then it packages a huge book and seminar training manual. Hopefully she doesn't have to go back today. Hopefully it's not urgent. Well, I'm not going to hide it because then I'd have hell to pay. Because they would say, where's this thing at? And then they'd blame me if I made it disappear. And all that. But tomorrow there's bad weather in Houston, Texas. There's thunderstorms. And so, of course, the hospital is trying to bill me and the ambulance company after I was stabbed 3 times on December 8th. And December 8th. And so they said, oh, just fill out this victims compensation fund in Texas and we'll cover the bill. Right? And I'm like, okay. But there's always some red tape or bullshit to cover my bill. I'm like, look, okay, that's the victims. I was a victim of a crime. And then so I want you to put down. So I joined the Texas Victims Compensation Fund. I filled out the fucking shit. I printed out the paperwork. I sent it back to them. And then they call back, I swear. the fucking billing place, they call back. They go, oh, they're trying to get out of it. Basically, they want me to pay the bill. They don't want the Texas Fund to do it because they're assholes, right? In the hospital industry, so they're just being assholes about the bill, about the services rendered, which were okay, but they weren't great. You know, I mean, there were some cute nurses and shit. I saw some nice butts and tits, and it was all right. I mean, it wasn't a porno, so, but you know what? Rachel was pretty hot, right? That blonde. Oh, dude. So it wasn't worth going in there to see Rachel. I don't want to get shot or stabbed again, but it was kind of nice. Rachel, right? Okay. No, I mean, she was a hot looking woman. And so, Rachel. Ooh. So, Rachel. Nah, Rachel. Just kidding. Rachel. Yeah. So, yeah, blondes. Yeah, the blondes. Gentlemen prefer blondes. A+, yeah, sure. So they called me up, and I swear, and they said, what is they didn't have the police number, they didn't have the case number on the report, and so I said, I'm sorry, I don't have the police number. I don't know what it is. I tried to look for it, and then I don't even know where. All I have is a signed copy of a restraining order against the individual that stabbed me 3 times. And then I have, and his case, but I don't have the police report number. So, I mean, the police have it. So it's like, it's not my responsibility to track down the police number, the case number. It's like, oh, go fuck yourself. And then so now they're sending me bill, and they're saying that the hospital bill is due on February 1st. And I'm just like, kiss my ass. I may call financial again and be like, look, I don't have the police number. I don't have the report number. So, yeah, I signed your shit. I signed your victim's compensation form. I signed it all. I just don't have the police report number. I don't know who to call for that. I can look it up. I could, spend hours on the computer or something looking that shit up. And then, yeah, so I signed up for the Texas Victims Compensation Fund, so I need to be compensated. Right, exactly. Because I was the victim of a crime, so that's what I did. And, the hospital and the insurance, they try to fuck you out of every single cent, and they wonder why Luigi Mangioni's come after them, and they kind of wondering about United Healthcare and all that. Yeah, they kind of wonder why these vigilantes are born, right? I mean, how? Well, they're trying to bilk people out of fucking their money. They do. They don't want to pay out. And so someone's going to go get one of these boys. It's sad but true. The system tries to fuck the customers out of money, like, all the time. I don't approve of vigilantism against the system. That's not fair, or that fucks over the consumer. I don't advocate that kind of stuff. But a lot of Americans are just tired of getting fucked over by bureaucrats and pencil necks. That's just how it is. Warren Zevon, Guns and Lawyers. Oh, oh. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. So they cook up chaos during the Trump administration, as much chaos as they can. The Democrats, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, George Soros, the Clintons, Barack Hussein Obama, and Big Mike, and Joe Biden, and all those bastards. They cook up the chaos. They keep saying chaos, division, chaos, division. And then they're like illness, illness, death, chaos, division, death, chaos, division, illness. And they're always like, the illness is coming back. It's airborne because the anti-vaxxers don't take their vaccines like good boys and girls. Oh, you didn't do what Pfizer and Moderna told you to do, or John Legend, or Travis Kelce from the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, he's a winner. He makes a lot of money. He bangs Taylor Swift. He's a winner. Don't you want to be a winner too? Oh, only if you all could be a winner like him. Oh, John Legend. What is he a legend of? What, he's famous because he's just like, I don't know, a blackout? What is one legendary song of John Legend? I haven't really heard it, so. Where's the legend of John Legend? He just calls himself Legend, like Charlemagne the God. It's always the black artists that do it too. Like they call themselves Johnny the Eternal or some bullshit. John Legend, Charlemagne the God, Tyrone the Almighty. It's always black people that do that shit. It could be white people. Maybe they do it too, but it's like. Charlemagne is no god. Yeah. I can prove it to you because he's going to pass away one day, just like everybody else. That's how I know. And if John Legend was such a legend, Mr. Dude, get the COVID vaccine. Did you get it yet? Motherfucker. Yeah. So Trump is reinstating the people that refused to get the vaccine. Yeah. The troops that refused to take the magic potion. The magic pharmaceutical potion that they all told us to get. And NBC and ABC and the sellout state media propaganda complex told us to get it. Everybody get the shot. Did I get the shot? Do I seem like a conformist to most people? Do I seem like a conformist type of person? No, I don't just conform to what the system tells me to fucking do. Fuck that. No, I'm not totally anti-vax. I mean, I don't want to get polio. I don't want to get measles. I don't want to get, whatever. I don't want to get crippling polio. So that's fine. Yeah, vaccine's fine for polio. And for flu. And for other things. And if you want to get the magic potion, if you want to get that sweet China white, that China liquid, if you want to get that, knock yourself out. But I'm going to my grave without the COVID-19 vaccine. You can always tell when something tyrannical is happening if the World Health Organization and the medical authorities of the Chinese Communist Party tell you to do something, then you know that it's a tyranny. It's a totalitarian tyranny. Whether it's the liberal global world order or the Chinese Communist Party, it's all one big tyranny trying to tell people what to do with their lives and what to inject in their bodies. That's none of their fucking business, what we inject in our bodies. So, it would be fine if the elites just wanted money and power and they just wanted palaces and bitches and the high life and stuff. But they also want to control and dominate our lives. Now that's not going to stand. That's not going to be, that's not what we're going to put up with here. So, we can deal with just like trying to get rich and trying to get bitches and trying to get nice cars and nice houses and growing a big family. We're down going golfing and we're down with that, going on the sailboat and the windsurfing. That's fine. We understand that, going on the ski trips, jet setting, going around the world, showboating, spinning on your yacht, being a player. Everybody's cool with that. You know, that's old school. But these X-Files, tyrannical, majestic 12 people, these elites from Davos, Switzerland, that want to control our lives and dominate they want to write the script of our lives. That's what we're not going to tolerate at all. And so, people that try to force behaviors on us that we reject, that we do not approve or want. Yeah, I guess the COVID-19 vaccine was pretty, I guess the vaccination commercial was pretty slick. It showed the football star and he's got the pretty blonde, sexy wife, and you got John Legend, I guess. Legendary for, I don't know what song it is, but he's pulling up his sleeve like, hey, everybody take this. Yeah, and not everybody wants to take it though. So that's just truth. I mean, do they give kids a choice to take COVID-19 vaccine in school these days? Do little kids get to choose? Or does mom and dad and the system just say, you have to take this? Well, I do wonder if they're given a choice. Hey, do you want to take this? It's an optional vaccine. Is it optional? Or is it just adults refusing to take it? Not because they're afraid necessarily of the rumors of heart problems and all these complications like myocarditis and so forth. It's not that they're just upset about the rumors of, failing health and lives cut short because of this Chinese Dr. Anthony Fauci vaccine, but it's the principle of the thing. People do like being told what to do if, it makes sense, if it's reasonable. If it works, if something's effective. Okay, so somebody's like, they get their flu shot or not. But if they get the flu, it's going to be really painful. You can get your COVID-19 vaccine. You can get through COVID just fine, and you can build up immunity to it. The SARS-CoV-2, coronavirus, COVID-19. Created in the Wuhan Virology Institute by Dr. Anthony Fauci, and probably with funding from the U.S. government and all these bioweapons warfare labs around the world. I think they rolled it out to stop Trump from being reelected because it was released in November 2019, right before the election. Caused maximum chaos during 2020 and race riots and all that shit, and caused chaos and worldwide plague, pandemic, and then, Trump's not elected. Then you could get Joe Sliman in. You could get that Joe Vermin in. slide his ass in, riding the coattails of the half white, half black man, Barack Hussein Obama, the Kenyan, Hawaiian, English white guy, the lawyer, and then, yeah, you can get crooked old Joe in, playing the part of a responsible, loving grandfather, I guess was the acting role. I want to say it was the loving patriarch of paternity. Patriarchy. So he's the loving grandfather. He's the man of wisdom, and he's the man of, that's what he presents himself as, like a regal, tough grandfather who does everything for his family and his kids, and so that's who he presented himself as. That was his character. Kind of a creepy grandfather, but that's the character that he threw out there. All right. Yeah, somebody won the $200,000 on Monday. I don't know if it was me. The beer party last night was mostly funded by me from the winnings from Thursday, which was $30. And then we'll see if I won the $200,000. I won't check it till tomorrow, tomorrow's thunderstorm. And then maybe I'll go. If I won, then I'll go see. If it's anything above $600, I can't cash it in. So. And so even if I do have thousands of dollars, am I going to pay my medical bill? No, because I was the victim of a crime, and I filled out the form for victim's compensation. So I'm still not going to pay it, even if I have the money. Remember, it's about the principle of the thing. So since we're about principles, that means that it's about the principle of the thing. The principle is COVID-19 vaccine safe and effective? The principle is that people are telling us to take it and put it in our bodies, even if we don't want to. That's the point. That's the problem. So it's the principle of the thing. The principle of being told to take the COVID-19 vaccine with the World Health Organization or a taxpayer-funded illegal underground chemical biological warfare program. So the point is that the pharmaceutical companies make a fortune off this vaccine. They're like, take it, take it, take it. Like they spend billions on the war in Ukraine. More war, more war, more proxy wars, because a full out war will do damage to world economy. So the powers that be, the elites, want a forever proxy wars around the world, because those you don't have to destroy the economy in the process. So the globalists don't want, and the neocons don't want to destroy the global economy, because that's what a World War III would do. So they want the money flowing in and then the proxy wars continue going. And I guess it's a 2-for-1 deal with Ukraine. So you weaken the Russian people, you weaken Vladimir Putin, and you kill a lot of Russians, and then you save kind of a discount because the Ukrainians, they fight your war for you and your machines and your drones and all that stuff. So totalitarian dictators like Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping know that if their people get angry enough, even though they live in authoritarian, totalitarian, communist police states, they know that if their people get pissed off enough, that they're going to come for them. So, it's a delicate balance to keep their power after 70 years old. It's going to be harder and harder for them to be eternal, forever leader masters, because this next 10 years is going to be really rough. Anybody who turns 70, your next 10 years are going to be rough as fuck for anybody, everybody. So especially trying to rule a large nation with an iron fist. It's going to become increasingly, and with an increasingly pissed off populace that's not free, increasingly pissed off that they're being surveilled, increasingly pissed off that they're cut off from the rest of the world and the global economy, increasingly restless and angry. A youth that has totally dropped out in China called Let It Rot movement, because they're so angry that they have no opportunities or limited opportunities. So they're mad at their own government, the Chinese Communist Party. They know they can't speak out or they'll be jailed. They know they can't act out. But they rebel in other ways, like not participating. That's a good way to rebel, not participating. It's a big middle finger to the system or the government. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I might just cancel all that NBC, CBS, ABC dishonesty news network, because it's all going to be anti-Trump, anti-conservative, anti-American, anti-Republican propaganda. And it's going to be state Democrat, the DC swamp propaganda. I wonder if my stepdad and mother went to Papacitos. Papacitos. Yeah, a lot of people said, I know why you rebelled so much, because your stepfather was an accountant, and that's boring. Yeah, that's part of the rebellion for sure, because it is very boring. Yeah. Accountants are kind of boring. It is very true. They're not like super fun people. It's very drab, the account books and the business books, and it's just kind of a drab kind of thing. It's not exciting. So the most exciting thing my stepdad does is like watch a movie or something, or he might go to a sports bar. It might, that's it. Or he might have a few beers once in a while, not get sloshed, but like, just kick loose or whatever. Yeah, mother does drink sometimes, her thing, this fruity drink that's really bad for you. And peppermint schnapps, it's nasty. I don't know why she chose that. It's really awful. So, I only picked the beer, the 40s, because they're real cheap. It's not because it's good. I know it's not good. I know it doesn't taste good. So, maybe the funniest thing, that when my stepdad moved back into this place, it was so funny because one night I was stone cold sober, and I didn't know, I was stone cold sober, and I didn't know my mom started to have a few drinks until like it was like because it was getting late, and then I might have thought, well, I want to get some beers or something. If everybody else is having, if mom's having a few drinks, I want to have some too. And not exactly like that, but I was real sober at first, so I didn't go to the store to get some beer. And then mom was kind of getting sloshed, kind of a bit drunky. And so anyway, but the funniest thing is my stepdad has this annoying schedule. It's like 7 a.m. and then it's like stay up as long as you can until 11 p.m. So that's his daily schedule. It's a really annoying one too, because it's like takes the whole damn day. So living with my stepdad is like, it's not very, he consumes the whole day. I mean, really, he's a pain in the ass. And so he's like a totalitarian communist dictator. He tries to control everything and dictate everything. And he's he's annoying. Okay, he doesn't just annoy me. He annoys. I mean, I don't know how many relatives want to hang out with him. I don't know how many friends he's got. It's probably a diminishing number. He's not a popular guy. Okay, so Maybe he can get his sister to hang out with him. Maybe he can get an old friend from work to hang out with him. Maybe he can, call up an old buddy that he used to run with or something like that. But he's not a super popular guy. That's that much is certain. So it was kind of funny that night. Well, it wasn't funny because that night almost came to blows. Because he was yelling things at my mother, and anybody messing with my mother, I don't care if it's her ex-husband or whoever, but if you mess with my mother, I'm gonna fuck you up. So I mean, one way or the other. So yeah, it's not cool getting sloppy drunk a lot. Okay, it's not fun to just go 3 sheets to the wind, right? If you're sober, you have to deal with it. It's not a very fun thing. Yeah. So sometimes it's kind of funny, but sometimes you're like, oh man, this is kind of wasting my time because there's singing and dancing and sometimes maybe there's somebody, breaking stuff or maybe they're fighting or whatever, So sometimes it is like a big waste of time, and then sometimes maybe it's too loud, the music, and maybe the cops come and there's a noise complaint or the neighbors complain or, I'm not saying there's not incidents which can occur. Sometimes there has been, dangerous falls. You could drink too much and fall, like that fall down the stairs. You can fall, hit your head on a glass. You can fall. Yeah, drunkenness is not good because you can fall and bust your ass. That's true. So one time, my stepdad back in 2006, back when I was real young at 26 back then, back in the old days, he kind of was upset, I guess, about his divorce or something to my mother or some shit like that. And then he hit some Jack Daniels or something. So he was getting really, he usually doesn't, like, if he has problems, drink away his problems or reflect on his problems through drink. I mean, he has done it plenty of times in the past, but it's not a normal thing because he always likes to preach against alcohol, but then sometimes he slips, right? So but he's a master hypocrite in a lot of ways because he's like, oh, I'm a teetotaler, but then he slips up sometimes, right? Or he's like, oh, I don't really drink alcohol because I don't have a problem. Oh, I just have a few beers. Who knows how many he really has sometimes, but he's a hypocritical bastard, right? He's like the religious guy. It's like, give me a fucking break. No, it's okay because Jesus forgives me for all my sins. So I can go to the titty bar, you see? I can have a beer, you see, because Jesus. Yeah. It's like the cure-all to everything, huh? Yeah, the Holy One, he magically cures everything. Wow. Ooh. Yeah. The Lord doesn't really... The Lord forgives me about that one night stand. He forgives me about my urges, my vices, my lusts and desires, and things of that nature. So I'm staying pretty sober, and I'm hoping maybe I'll get some beers or something that night or something. Dealing with my stepdad's schedule, it's like he's like always talking about business. He's always talking about taxes, and he tries to turn the place into fucking ESPN Sports Center constantly. So there's always a basketball game on or a football game on. It's like, dude, come on. There's just too much of that shit. Yeah, so I try to turn the condo into like a music dance zone. I try to turn it into a music club, and then my mom tries to turn it into like home and gardens, like beach palace, and then my stepdad tries to turn the condo into some sports center or some shit like that. So yeah, we all have our vision for what our house is going to be like, right? So my stepdad got really, shit faced off whiskey one day, and I happened to be off from work or home, and so he starts yelling about shit or something, and he's agitated because he's already drinking whiskey, and then I call him. I said, what, asshole, faggot, or something like that, bitch. Because he's always being a bitch. He's always complaining. He's always like, it's never good enough. It's like, shut the fuck up. You're a whiny ass fucking bitch. You're a full grown fucking man. Quit acting like a bitch. So I called him a name and then I shut my door. And then he bum rushes the fucking door. And he charges at me. But he's really drunk from the liquor. He's a bigger guy than me. And he's like 6'2" or something, and he's big. He's fat, basically. He has man tits. He's really big and burly, so he's like, kind of hard to fight normally, So in his prime, not as he gets older, he's not going to be able to fight worth a shit or do anything. But he might be heading for a wheelchair one day, you never know. But he might be crippled or something eventually. So he bum rushes me, but he's really off kilter because he's drunk. He just got so enraged I call him pussy or faggot or something, or whatever, whatever the curse word was, asshole or douchebag or whatever the insult was, right? And then so I tried to throw my guitar at him, and he just deflected it, and then but I realized he was really drunk and he wasn't really landing any blows. He wasn't coordinated because the whiskey had made him, like this shit, like just hitting the air and stuff. So, we were out like beyond the bed we used to have carpet back then. And so then the fight went from my bed to the carpet, and then after he deflected the guitar, which was not a good weapon, by the way, and because it's hollow, so it's not a great weapon. I should have got a golf club or something, or like a bat. Even the tennis racket would have more, titanium. It would hurt more. So then he thinks he's the big tough guy, and he thinks since he's a big tough guy, he's gonna smother your ass. So he tries to get you in chokeholds and sit on you because he's a big fat ass, dumbass, Fred Flintstone looking motherfucker. Well, it's like Frankenstein Fred Flintstone, if you can imagine. That's what he looks like. Frankenstein Fred Flintstone. That's what I call him. So then, I'm not really a great fighter, but I went bam, like in his face, and then he fell down and slipped, and then I just ran out of the house. I guess I hit him hard because he didn't want to see my aunt. He didn't want to open the door. I guess because he was embarrassed, and then also, he probably got a shiner on his face or something. I hit him as hard as I could, but he was drunk, so it wasn't like he had his wherewithal to really fight. He had been drinking, I don't know how much whiskey he had, but he was sloshy. So I just left at that time and just, diffuse the situation. There was a temptation to just keep beating him on the floor until he was just bloody to a pulp. I was young enough to do it. I was strong enough to do it. He deserved it. And then, the recovery time would have been pretty epic. But, I didn't know about, what would and he was under 55, so they weren't going to charge you for senior, assaulting a senior or something like that. So I showed mercy that day. I showed mercy. I may not show mercy always in the future with whoever my opponents are. I may not show mercy ever again as I get older, but that time I did. The next man. The next man that tries to fight me, I might not stop beating him until he's just knocked out. I may not stop hitting him until the pain cells don't work anymore. Yeah, wild titles. Yeah, I'm just joking around with the wild titles. And so, wild titles, yeah. Wild titles. Wild titles, yeah. I love the wild titles. You got to keep it wild, like, Will Smith, wiggity wild, wiggity wild. So we're going back. We're not going to go back to 2006, the incident. One of the earliest fights with my stepfather that was physical. And, is Mom here now? Oh, okay, she's back. All right, well, I have to do that story a little bit later.